Jesse, when your character's introduced, someone says he sees all, he knows all, and he smells amazing. I just wondered what your take on the Shangri Llama is.
Well, I love playing him. I love the look of him. I love the spirit of him. I don't get to play a lot of characters like him. In my 20 years of acting, I've never encountered anyone like him. I'm tickled by his self-assurance and his bravado, and I also love how easily he cracks and how easily that sort of fades. I think it was really fun to sort of play that bipolar duality.
And you're currently playing 40 different characters on Broadway.
Yes.
And I heard that you said one of them was inspired partly by Adele. I just wondered what your inspiration was for the Shangri Llama and how you went about finding his voice.
Well, I sort of just jumped into the deep end of the pool with the Shangri Llama. I looked at the dialogue that he had, and he has a very very elevated way of speaking. He sort of always speaks like he's announcing something, even in common dialogue with one other person. He's sort of announcing it for other people who might be hearing. So he sort of has this bravado about him, and he speaks about himself in third person. He's annoying at times. So I wanted to find, how does that person sound in my head, and that's sort of where I jumped off from, and it took me a little while to sort of figure out his tone, but I think once we found it, it was sort of smooth sailing from there.
And what did you enjoy about the recording session itself, and how physical were you? Did you get into any of those advanced yoga positions?
I did not get into the advanced yoga positions because I have zero flexibility in real life. Again, it was unlike anything I've ever done before, having not done animation before, and truly having to find all the emotion in your voice and convey so much with just one tool, and sort of leave it up to the animators to take over the rest. It's a wild experience.
And one of the highlights of the Tonys was that carpool karaoke you did with James Corden.
Yes.
Just hilarious. Can you tell us a bit about filming that with James?
Yeah, well, James asked me to do it, and I saw who else he had asked, and I was like, there is no way I'm going to miss this opportunity. I will be there. I will do whatever you need me to do. He and Lin-Manuel Miranda drove around for about 20 minutes doing their stuff, and then they picked up Audra McDonald and Jane Krakowski and I, and we didn't rehearse any of this stuff. We sang about 5 songs, and I think about 3 of them made it into the cut, and we just drove around and sang. I mean, that's what I kind of loved about it. There was nothing planned or edited or rehearsed, and it was really exciting. So, to sit next to Audra McDonald while she's singing a high C is something I'll never forget.
It's a great concept, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it's great.
And do you tend to sing around when you're driving yourself anyway?
Sure, yeah. When I'm in Los Angeles and driving to set, sometimes I'll sing. Yeah.
Have you got any favorite tracks that you put on?
I do love musical theater, so I put on the Broadway channel on Sirius XM and just whatever comes on, anything from Rodgers and Hammerstein to Jonathan Larson. So.
And just going back to Ice Age and Geotopia, there's a bit of the picture of Dorian Gray kind of thing going on, isn't there?
Right.
with them and their aging. Just wonder what your own philosophy was to aging.
I am not fighting it. I feel like I've gotten better with age. I look at photos of myself even like 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, I look so much better now. I don't know if I'll always feel this way, but I'm very inspired by people, like, for example, not to go back to Tony Awards, but it was very exciting that all the actors who won Tonys for their performances in a play were over the age of 60. And I was like, yeah, I want to have that career. I want the longevity. I want to grow into my skin. I don't want to pull myself and, who knows what might happen? I might realize I might need a little tuck at some point. But for the time being, I'm at 40 years old, and I'm really happy with where I am. So I don't want to fight aging at all.
And just finally, what was your own favorite animation when you were growing up? Because Ice Age is obviously hugely popular. Yeah,
well, I love the Ice Age franchise, and it truly is one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of Disney. I'm a big fan of Pixar. I love the Smurfs. I love the Littles. I loved, I was a big lover of Saturday morning cartoons. So, it's something it's very nostalgic for me, and so to be a part of an animated movie now, it's very, very cool.
Jesse Tyler Ferguson, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey